JinPingMei Original Version Chapter 83. Ju expresses her feelings with hatred. Mei sends a letter to the happy party. It is said that when Pan Jinlian saw Chen Jingji crossing the wall at dawn, she felt regretful. The next day was July 15th, and Wu Yunyang went to Anzu in Dazang Nunnery in a sedan chair to celebrate the burning of the Ulan festival for Ximen. Everyone in Jinlian sent Yunyang to the front gate. When they came back, Meng Yulu, Sun Zue, and the eldest sister all went to the back. Du Jinlian lagged behind and walked to the front door of the friend hall. She met Jingji, who was upstairs at Li Pingera's side, looking for clothes from the dungeon and carrying them out. Jinlian stopped and said to him, "I told you a few words yesterday. How did you make Xing'er jump out this morning? Could it be that you are just with me?" Jingji said. "You old man," still said, "one night who can fall asleep? You almost bothered me to death all night long, and you see the flesh on my face has been wiped out." The woman scolded, "The thief's life is short, and we are not related to him. The thief is cowardly. Why are you leaving in vain?" Jingji said. "It is clear that the sky will not come and let people see it. Who has anything to do with him?" Jinlian said, "If there is no such thing, you come back tonight. I'll ask you slowly." Jingji said, "It's a crime to eat your hemp. Who can sleep all night? Wait for me to take a nap during the day." The woman said, "If you don't go, I will settle accounts with you." After saying that, the woman went back to her room. Jingji took the clothes to the shop, did some business, returned to the side room, and slept on the bed. "I hope it will get late and I will go to Jinlian." Unexpectedly, at dusk, the sky turned dark and it started to rain outside the window. Exactly, it rains in the dusk in the courtyard, and the banana trees dotted in silence. Seeing that the rain was falling hard, Jingji said, "What a beautiful day. He has just taught me how to give testimony. I don't want it to rain again today. It's so boring." So there was a long wait and a short wait, but the rain couldn't stop, and it continued to fall until the first watch, with water flowing on the eaves. The young man couldn't wait for the rain to stop, so he lay down on his bed with a crimson blanket. When Wu Yunyang came home at that time, the eldest sister and Yuang Shu'er were behind and did not come out. So I locked the door, walked into the garden through the heavy rain from the west corner door, and pushed the corner door. The woman knew that he would come tonight, so she had already told Mei to drink Ju for a few minutes. And then she slept with him in a kang room, keeping the corner door ajar. Jingji pushed open the corner door and walked in. Entering the woman's bedroom, she saw that the gauze room was half open, the silver candle was burning high. The wine and fruit were stale on the table, and the golden statue was full. The two sat side by side with their legs folded. The woman then asked, "You have never had any affair with Ming Sanar. How did you get this hairpin?" Jingji said, "I picked it up under the tea rack in the garden yesterday. If I coax you, it will lead to death." "Ash," the woman said, "since there is no such thing, I still want to keep this hairpin with you. I don't want it from you. Just keep my hairpin, sachet, and handkerchief with you. If I am missing one thing, the money will be with you." Answer. The two of them drank wine and played chess, then went to bed at one watch. "I was so confused that I went crazy for half the night." The woman gave all the romance she had with Simon King to her lover. But Ju was in the room over there, and suddenly she heard a man's voice speaking in the room over there, and she didn't know which one it was. At dawn, when the rooster crows, Ju gets up to urinate. Suddenly she hears the door open in the room over there. In the dim moonlight, and the rain has not stopped, she opens the window and sees a person wearing a red bedsheet leaving the room, just like brother-in-law Chen. "It turns out that he sleeps with my mother every night. My mother knows how to keep clean and raise her son-in-law in secret." The next day, he walked directly to the kitchen behind and said to Xiao Yu like this. She didn't want Xiao Yu and Mei to get along, so she told Mei, "Ju said that your mother raised brother-in-law Chen. She slept in the room all night yesterday and went out this morning." The eldest girl and Yuang Xiao didn't sleep in front. When Mei returned home, she said to the woman, "Mother, I'll give this slave a few beatings and teach him to cheat and ruin his master." Jinlian was furious after hearing this, and asked Kyuju to kneel in front of her and cursed, "I taught you how to cook porridge, so I broke the pot. You dared to have a big butt, so why worry? I haven't done that in the past few days. I'm going to hit you, slave. Your bones are itching." So he hit him with a stick 30 times on his back as hard as he could, until Kyuju screamed like he was killing a pig, and his body was all broken. JinPingMei walked over and said, "Mom, I can't beat him so many times, so I just tickled him. After he was peeled off, I called the boy to come and chop him with a big board as hard as he could 20 or 30 times. See if he was afraid. Aren't you afraid? The few times he has been trying to fetch water, it's just like fighting monkeys. He is so timid. Why do you think he is afraid? As a slave, he can't say what he says, and he can't say what he says outside. It's easy to raise a monk and give birth to a son like you." Kyuju said. "Who said anything?" The woman said, "You're just talking." What else could a slave who broke into a house and harmed his master say? After several drinks, Kyuju went to the kitchen. Exactly, mosquitoes are slapped just to hurt people with their mouths. One day, during the Mid-Autumn Festival in August, Jin Lian secretly made an appointment with Jingji to enjoy the moon, drink wine, and play out chess with JinPingMei. Late in the evening, I slept too much until dawn, and I still didn't get up around tea time, which was quite revealing. Not wanting to be noticed by Kyuju, she quickly walked to the back room and said to Yunyang. Not wanting Yunyang to comb her hair, Xiaoyu was standing at the door of the room. Kyuju took him aside and told him, "My brother-in-law is like this. He rested in my mother's room yesterday and has not gotten up yet. I sued you the day before yesterday and beat me. Today is true. See, I don't blame him. Please go and have a look." "Grandma," Xiaoyu scolded, "you open-eyed slave has come to ruin your master again." My grandma was combing her hair. "Why don't you leave quickly?" Yunyang then asked. What did he say? Xiaoyu could not hide anything, so she only said, Wu Niang sent Kyuju to ask grandma to speak, not to mention anything else. The moon girl combed her hair, moved her lotus steps lightly, and suddenly came to the door of the golden lotus room in front. JinPingMei saw it early and came in first in a panic to retaliate to Jinlian. Jinlian and Jingji were still in bed when they heard Yunyang's arrival. They were both startled. They hurriedly hid Jingji in the bed and covered it with the edge of a brocade quilt. Teach JinPingMei to put the small table on the bed, take the pearl flowers, and thread them through. After a while, Yunyang came to the room and sat down and said, "Sixth sister, we haven't seen you go out yet. I just want to know what you are doing. You are wearing beads and flowers in the house." He held it in his hand and looked at it, and praised. It is well dressed, with sesame flowers on the front, and the eyes on both sides are bright and beautiful. There are bees chasing chrysanthemums round the coil. They just made a concentric knot. And it looks good. Tomorrow, you will also do it for me. I wear a pair of hoops. When the woman saw Yunyang saying nice things, her heart stopped beating, and she ordered JinPingMei to pour tea for her to eat with her. After a while, Yunyang had her tea, sat back, and said, "Sixth sister, please comb your hair and sit back." Jinlian said, "I know." After sending Yunyang out, he quickly urged Jingji to leave the port and go forward. JinPingMei and the woman were sweating, and the woman said, "If you don't come here, now that you have nothing to do, why are you here so early in the morning?" JinPingMei said, "On the left and right are our slaves." After a while, I saw Xiaoyu walking over, saying something like this. Kyuju went on to say that her brother-in-law slept in this room until dawn and dusk, and even after I scolded him twice, he still didn't move. My grandma asked me, but she didn't say anything. She just said that Wu Niang asked grandma to speak and she just came. You, old man, just keep it in your heart. The adults don't see the faults of villains. Just watch out for this slave. The judge heard that although Yunyang didn't believe Kyuju's words, she was afraid that the Golden Lotus girl would lose her husband and become evil over time and become evil. Afraid of spreading the word and being talked about by outsiders. Because of his love for his daughter, he did not teach the eldest sister to go out far away. So he moved Li Zhao's wing to live with the eldest sister, and taught him and his wife to move into the ceremonial gate at the back. When Mr. Fu went to his house, Fang taught Jingji to take turns sleeping in the shop. To get clothes and medicinal materials, go in and out with Danner. Every door was locked, and maids and women were not allowed to go outside unless they had anything to do. Everything was tight, and the passionate love between Pan Jinlian and Jingji was blocked. It's true, good things in the world are often hindered, and the scenery inside does not last long. There is a poem to prove it. I visited Yujin several times on the rooftop, but I could not see the sinking sea among the three mountains. The Hu family became as deep as the sea, and Xiao Lang was a passerby from the Nan. Pan Jinlian and Jingji have not seen each other for more than a month since Qiu leaked the news. The golden lotus is hard to bear every day, so how can the embroidered curtains be left alone and cold? And the painting pavilion is desolate, which will harm the eyes by the wood and the heart into the fields. The makeup is uneven, the meal is reduced, the girth is wide and faded, the skin is thin and weak. And I just feel sleepy every day, unable to hold my head up. Chanmai said, "Mom, your idle thoughts are useless. Yesterday, the aunt left the girls behind. I heard that the roles were to be announced tonight, and the ceremonial gate behind them was closed early. At night, I pushed to the stable in front. Get straw for pillows, and wait until I go to the shop to call him. I finally asked my brother-in-law to meet with my mother. How do you feel about your mother?" The woman said, "My good sister, if you are willing to take pity on me and ask him to come, I will. Kindness is repaid and never forgotten." Chanmai said, "What did mother say? You and I are the same person, and father is gone. If you move forward tomorrow, I would rather go with mother. The two of us still in one place." The woman said, "If you have this intention, you know it's good." In the evening, the woman first went to the back in front of the moon mother. Pretending to feel uneasy, she used a golden cicada to escape from her shell and returned to the front. The ceremony gate behind Yunyang opened long ago, and the maids and women were let out to listen to the nun's announcement. Jin Lianyang and Chanmai said, "Good sister, please invite him quickly." Chanmai said, "Let me get that slave Qiu first. Drink him for a few minutes. Make him drunk, and then put him upside down in the kitchen. Then I can go." So he sifted 2 large bowls of wine, sent Qiu to eat, put him in the kitchen, took a basket, walked to the front, picked up a basket of grass, then quietly walked to the door of Yinzi's shop and called the door in a low voice. At that time, Mr. Fu was not in the shop and went home. Only Jingji was leaning down on the king. Suddenly he saw someone calling the door. The voice sounded like Chanmei's. He opened the door quickly. When he saw it was him, he smiled and said, "It's really my little eldest sister. No one is there, please sit inside." Chanmei left. After entering the room, he asked, "Where are the boys?" Jingji said, "Dian and Ping'an are sleeping in the herbal medicine shop over there. I am alone here, feeling lonely and indifferent." Chanmei said, "My mother has always told you that you are a good person. In the past few days, you have not even walked to my room. She said that you have another guest, the owner of the door. I don't care about you, every time."
好了，这个故事先说到这里。
欲知后事如何，且听下回分解。
Jingji said, "That's what I'm talking about. Since I got bluffed that day, I was frightened and dispersed. I also saw that my aunt locked the door tightly, so I didn't dare to move around." Chanmei said, "My mother has been very upset because of you these past few days. She has been careless and thoughtless every day. She is too lazy to eat and drink, and has nothing to do. Today, the aunt left him behind to listen to the announcement, and did not go, so she came. She was just worried about her. I miss you, so Baba asked me to come and teach you to go quickly." Jingji said, "I appreciate your maiden's kindness so much. How can I repay you? You take a step ahead. I'll take care of it. And then I'll go." While opening the cupboard door, he took out a white silk scarf and started to argue with him about 3 things. Chanmei and I hugged each other, pressed each other on the king, kissed each other and licked our tongues, and they were very happy. Exactly, I have no chance to meet Ying Ying, and I have to go to the matchmaker to clear up the slander. After the 2 plays were over, JinPingMei came back to the room first with grass and said to the woman, "Brother-in-law, I called him, and he came. He didn't like it when he saw me, and he got along with me again. A sweat towel, a pair of silver picks." The woman called JinPingMei, "You are watching outside, just afraid that he will come." It turned out that that day was the 123rd of September, and the moon was shining brightly. Chen Jingji went to the herbal medicine shop and called Anna to come over. He just pushed Yunyang to tell him to listen to the announcement, and went straight to the back. Because the front garden door is closed, open the back corner door, and walk to the golden lotus side, shaking the wooden golden flower as a sign. JinPingMei quickly responded and introduced her into the room. The woman greeted the door and said with a smile, "A thief's life is short, but a good man will not come in and walk around." Jingji said, "I really want to come. I'm just afraid it will cause trouble and bring trouble to you, old man. I'm sorry." With that said, the two of them entered the room hand in hand and sat down. JinPingMei closed the corner door, put a table in the room, and put wine and food on it. The woman and Jingji sat side by side with their legs folded, with spring plum blossoms spread horizontally. They poured the wine, changed cups, and ate once while leaning against the greenery. As the wine got stronger, the woman's delicate eyes were slanted, and the dark clouds were half hidden. She took out Simon King's sex device bag, which contained the Simon King sex device, the trembling Zhao, the silver holder, and the Mayan Ling Yi Nonger sex device. When Jingji was taught, the woman lay naked on a drunkard's chair under the shadow of a lamp. Jingji also took off his clothes and took out his 24 interpretations of Chunyi, put it under the lamp, and acted accordingly. The woman called JinPingMei, "You are pushing your brother-in-law behind because he is tired." JinPingMei was really pushing from behind, and Jingji's words were inserted into the woman's vagina, pumping back and forth. It was so smooth and beautiful that it can't be described in words. Not wanting Kyuju to cook in the back, she woke up in the middle of the night to wash her hands, only to find that the door was locked upside down and could not be pushed open. So he stretched out his hand, pushed aside the bird hangings, crept under the big moon, and walked under the window of the front room. Opening the window and looking in, I saw bright lights and candles in the room. 3 people were drunk and all naked. They were doing a good job. The two sat opposite each other. JinPingMei pushed the cart behind her, and the 3 of them sat together. But see, one does not care about his status as husband and master, while the other cares about his superiority and inferiority. On one chair, the mood is expressed in the rain, while in the other ear, the vows of eternal love are said. A widow's house is turned into a happy ashram, and the front of a mother-in-law's house is turned into a world of filth. One gave all Simon King's pillow love to his beloved son-in-law, and the other gave all Honshu's secret tricks to his mistress. It's exactly this, written as a book that will never end in this life. It will bring joy to the next life. Kyuju saw it in her eyes, but said nothing, thinking in her heart. They were still saying they wanted to beat me in front of others, but today I really saw it. When I tell my aunt tomorrow, could it be that they are trying to trick me and open their mouths? So after looking at it with great joy, he still went to sleep in the kitchen. The 3 of them stayed awake until the 3rd watch. JinPingMei got up before dawn and walked to the kitchen. When she saw the kitchen door opened, she asked Kyuju. Kyuju said, "What are you talking about? I need to urinate urgently. Where can I drown?" "I unplug the bird hanging and go out to the yard to drown." JinPingMei said, "I became a slave, and there was a scorpion in the house. So drowning is wrong." Kyuju said, "I didn't know the scorpion was in the house." The 2 people behind were noisy. Jingji woke up at dawn and went to the front early. Exactly, splitting the road of life and death with both hands, turning over and jumping out of the door of right and wrong. The woman then asked JinPingMei, "What's going on behind there?" JinPingMei was like this and told Kyuju that she had opened the door at night. The woman became angry and wanted to beat Kyuju. This Kyuju came back early in the morning to report to Yunyang. Yunyang yelled at her and scolded her, "You are a slave who is cheating on your master." He came here the day before yesterday and reported something light and serious, saying that his master was harboring brother-in-law Chen. In the room, He slept until dawn and slept until dawn, so he called me. His master was setting up the king table on the bed to wear beads and flowers. How about brother-in-law Chen come? Brother-in-law Chen came from behind, just to be a slave who was playing tricks on the master. An adult is placed in the room, carrying a candy figure, no matter where it is placed. Where can a piece of sand fall? Could it be that you don't look down on it? If the word spreads, what I know is that you, as slave, ruined the master. If you don't know, just say JinPingMei wants a man who is much stronger. He has been dead for a long time, and the wives are all confused. Just like this child of mine, there is something very wrong. So I want to fight Qiuju. Qiuju was so frightened that she ran forward as fast as flying, not daring to come back to talk anymore. When the woman heard that Yunyang drank Qiuju, she didn't believe it, and she became more and more bold. Sister Ximen heard this and interrogated Jingji secretly. Jingji said, "Do you believe that slave who is sweating? I saw you sleeping in a shop yesterday. When will I go to the garden?" The garden door is closed all day long. The eldest sister scolded, "You thief, don't say anything. If you have any trouble and get into my ears, if you mess with me, just take off your clothes and never want to be in this house again." Jingji said, "Right and wrong are always there, and if you don't listen, there will be nothing." My aunt doesn't believe him when she sees him. The eldest sister said, "I wish you could just say so. It's exactly this. Who would have expected that the man's heart is as light as cotton wool? But how could he know that my concubine's mind is as chaotic as silk?"
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.